We are Cactus Wrestling. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos.
Welcome back to Cactus Wrestling. Here we are. So today we're going to be discussing some hot stuff that's happening in the transfer portal. Yeah, we've got a lot of high profile names that have entered the portal, including a national champ. So
A
things,
lot of big names.
yeah, things are flying off the handle, and Yaroslav Slavikowski doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah, back and forth. He's a little, he's a little confused, but he's got the spirit.
Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, I'm in the portal. Let's weigh my options. I'm gonna stay put.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think we're seeing that now too and we'll get into this soon. Some of these guys thought the grass was greener and then like, I'm gonna actually transfer again. And that might be a good segue into who just entered the portal is Chris Cannon.
Oh right, yeah.
You know, he leaves a program that he did well at. And it's tough. We've talked about this, for smaller programs, especially in like these NIL times. So it sucked that he left, especially with the group that he left with.
Yeah, he left with D'Agostino and Davison.
Yeah, and now he goes to Michigan, and he's like, he doesn't, he's hurt or can't,
I think he wrestled one match and got injured, and then that was it.
Yeah, but we've talked about it off screen. It's like I don't think he's beating Ragusan.
Yeah, that's probably an issue, and he probably wants to go the same weight at 33.
Yeah.
So, and after Ragusan's past season, he's probably thinking like, do I really want to duke it out for a spot? Whereas I could just transfer and just claim a spot wherever I go.
And potentially earn, another good NIL deal because he was an All-American.
Yeah.
He's not a bad wrestler by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah. I mean, he already came to transfer you, so I don't know where he's going.
Where do you go once you've been to Michigan? It's like, maybe he tries to go to Okie State, fill in for Dayton Fix now that he graduated. Although Oklahoma State is filling in well, but maybe toss his hat in the ring and think,
all those young guns.
Yeah.
Well, and then they also got these transfer portal guys that they're getting.
Yeah.
So
who are they getting? Who they got already? Let's talk about it.
Yeah, Caleb Fish for one, round of 12 guy. Solid pickup. I mean, he's not bad. I mean, he's not, he's not a national champ, but that's a solid pickup. I mean, last year they got Olenek. I mean, a weight up, but still they got Olenek, and he did pretty well for them.
He did. But they also picked up Dean, Hamidi, and
that's the bigger pickup, I'd say.
Yeah. Do you think that he's going to go up to 174? I mean, I think that when he wrestled Messenbrink, I was like, he looks, and he kind of got tired wrestling, and we speculated in other videos and just in our own talks that he's maybe cutting a little bit too much and let himself grow a little bit to 174. Maybe he'll have more success again.
Watching that match live was insane. Like, it was like, whoa, Messenbrink doesn't have an answer. Like, he's getting just dominated until Hamidi just fell apart. So, yeah, I feel like the weight might have been an issue. I mean, if he does move up, I'd like to think he'd do fairly well. I mean, Shane Griffith moved up from 65 to 74 and finished, third in the country? So,
yeah, I mean, and, you still had it, which is great. It would also make room for, Caleb Fish to be in that 165 spot. So it might be better for the team, if he goes up to 174, and as well as better for himself because, you just take one issue away and say, he was beating Messenbrink. He looks like he hit a wall. When guys have big cuts, for those of you guys out there that listen or have been through it, sometimes when you have that big cut, you're fine. Enter that third period, you're like, man, I have nothing left to give. You just watch that lead dwindle back.
Yeah, and you're wondering, like, is it like, am I not doing something right in the room, or is it that too much weight? So, yeah, no, I mean, Okie State's they're like trying to become the Okie State of old. It looks like they got going on.
And that makes me think of a potential guy that just toured there, Wyatt Hendrickson. Wyatt in the transfer portal as well. Big.
I mean, I'm impressed that he's in the portal because he had to go get government
Oh my
clearance
gosh.
to even get into the portal to then have this extra year. Like
It had to be
he
taken.
clearly is hungry and chomping at the bit if he's willing to go through all those necessary steps to just get the opportunity to
Well,
go.
I was gonna say it had to go from what I read, it had to go all the way to the Pentagon, and they had to, officially sign off on him getting the extra year of eligibility,
Yeah,
because of his military service. So
exactly. Yeah.
that's insane. And anyone that's doing that is not like, oh yeah, I'm looking to have a good All American season. Like this is a dude that's coming in ready to win now. Um,
Yeah.
I don't think he ends up at Oklahoma State though, if I'm being honest.
You don't think he's going to be there?
No, I think he's a Michigan guy, and part is
Transfer you.
Transfer you strikes again. Cliff Keen Wrestling Club. They have a lot of money to go around. But additionally, look at that heavyweight room. You have three guys in there that are doing pretty good. You have Mason Paris. Oh, he's the Olympic team rep for USA at 125 for freestyle.
He's an
You have Adam
Olympian,
Kuhn.
former Hodge.
Yeah, you have Adam Kuhn. He is the Olympic Greco rep for 130 kilos. Oh, so just the two best guys in the nation at freestyle and Greco
Two
at heavyweight,
Olympians.
and both of them multiple time national finalists. Additionally, who else is in that room? Oh, Lucas Davison. He just beat Wyatt last season, and he had made the finals with Kirk. This is another guy to help push him. I think that if you're a heavyweight wrestler in America and you're at the level that Wyatt is at, it would be a disservice to not go to the best heavyweight wrestling room, which right now is University of Michigan.
So wait, what you're saying is you don't think he's going to go to Penn State?
Wouldn't that be wild if he's just like, you know what? I'm gonna go be Kirk's backup.
I'm going to go try to beat Kirk out for the spot,
Yeah.
and if I don't, I'll just ride bench.
That's it. Hey, worked for Anthony Cassar.
Well, that was in reverse, but yeah.
Yeah.
What are the other three places that Wyatt is considering? Oh no, Michigan, Okie State, and then the other two were what was it?
Let me look.
Oh geez.
I knew this one. Minnesota and Mizzou.
Oh, Mizzou, right, and then
Yep.
Minnesota. But isn't Zach Lamb back?
I don't think so. I think that
Zach Lamb's done.
I believe he's
back.
Yes.
Oh, so Mizzou could use
Yeah.
Wyatt. So I guess the question is, does he want to be in the Big 12 or does he want to be in the Big 10? He's familiar with the Big 12. That's where he's been. So if he goes to Okie State or Mizzou, he's going to stay in the Big 12.
I still think the Big Ten, and he'd say, look, I want multiple shots at Kirk throughout the season. I'll see him in our duel. I'll see him at Big Tens. And by nationals, I will have a good feel for him because I've seen him and made adjustments throughout the season instead of just getting the one. And chances are they'd probably wrestle each other at the All-Star Classic as well. 4 potential times to make the adjustments needed, just like we saw with David Carr against Keegan O'Toole. It's very tough to beat the same guy 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
While Greg has maybe widened the gap compared to last season.
Well, we don't even know because he only got to wrestle him at the All-Star Classic.
Well, he teched him in freestyle, and I am including that.
Oh, okay.
I not that it freestyle carries over okay, but I think that it's not as close potentially as it was when they had like a neck and neck battle at NCAA's in 2023.
Right.
But if I'm him, I'm saying, hey, I could be in the best room with a guy that's beaten Kirk, with a guy that wrestled him in the finals, and this way I would have multiple stabs at him throughout the season and say, okay, I have to make this adjustment. And okay, did that work? Did it not work? Okay, cool. I have another attempt at him. Instead of just waiting to the NCAA's and saying, oh, I wish I did this differently, but it's too late now.
I mean, I think Michigan does make the most sense. Although going to Minnesota, they do have a storied success at heavyweight. It seems like all their best wrestlers ever were heavyweights. So
I think that this is the same thing as Iowa being like, oh, we're lightweight you. And it's like, cool. Like before Spencer Lee, how did you guys do? And it's like, oh well, it's been a long time. And I think the same thing before Gable.
You had
Minnesota,
Tony Nelson, which was not that far off. You
that
had
was a
Cole
while ago.
Conrad, who was not that far off. You had Brock Lesnar.
That's a lot. Okay,
That one was a bit further off than Cole Conrad, but
Tony Nelson was years ago now, though.
Tony Nelson was like 2014.
I don't think it was that recent. And even then, that's still a decade.
Maybe it was 2013.
Was it that
Yeah,
recent?
okay.
I feel like, yeah, but I don't know. It's just the wrestling world is like the news cycle. Like, it's cool. Like, what did you do for me today, though? And I think
yeah, I
that,
mean Michigan. I mean not Michigan. Minnesota really hasn't done
yeah, and that's it. It's
lately.
very storied program. Jay Robinson did incredible work. Had an amazing team. But I think
Eggum's doing decent.
yeah, he is for
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, especially considering he gets so many guys transferring out every year.
And I think that
I think Mcgonagle would have been better off staying.
Yeah, honestly, this season probably, yeah. But I think that, and not to like the
portal backfired.
Live and die by the portal. I just think that Minnesota's. If it wasn't for Gable, I think that their heavyweight run would have ended a lot earlier.
Oh yeah, that's fair. But I mean, still on with Minnesota, they got a great pickup in Clayton Whiting.
Yeah.
Now really Salazar's got a real solid partner.
Yeah.
I mean, Clayton Whiting, who's starting for Missouri the entire year until Big 12s, in which case they go, Colton Hawks, here you go.
Yeah.
Sucks for you, Clayton Whiting. So now that probably left him a bit salty and got him transferred out into Minnesota, which I mean, I think the change to the Big Ten, he'll probably rise to the occasion and it'll be a pretty solid guy there for Minnesota.
I think it'll be, more competition throughout the season. I feel like the Big Ten, as we've talked about, is probably the premier conference still as far as depth and top level talent. Yeah. And it'll be a great way to season himself for NCAAs. So that'll be exciting. But there's two more guys I wanted to talk about at Michigan.
Oh yeah, yeah.
First off, he gave Levi Haynes his closest match all season. And that's Chase Saldate, who went from Michigan State right next door to go to Michigan. And while he hasn't done, incredibly, he's had a great career so far.
He's a 3 or 4 time qualifier. I don't think he's ever actually All-American.
He's not, as far as I remember. He's been a high
12 once or twice.
Yeah, exactly. He's made it pretty far, but I think this guy's I think he's closer to being an All-American than people think. And watching the Levi Haynes match, I was like, man, this is going to be
all he can handle.
He gave him all he could and then some. And if he can do that, there's no reason he can't go with some of the top guys in NCAAs, especially in a program like Michigan that is hopefully going to, get that extra little juice out of him.
Well, I mean, it's transfer you, so they just keep sucking these guys in. They got Saldate. They're trying to get Wyatt.
And they got Jacob Cardenas.
Yeah, and then they got Cardenas. Yeah. So
that's a big pickup from Cornell.
That's surprising that a guy would leave Cornell and go over to Michigan. I mean, it was a grad transfer though, right?
Yeah, so a lot of guys do that.
Yeah. So I mean, that makes a little bit more sense that it's not like he left the undergrad for But yeah, Cardenas that's a solid pickup for Michigan. So Michigan, I mean, if Michigan also gets Wyatt,
yeah, they're going to be dangerous. And what's funny is they'll do all that just to finish like third.
Yeah, no, they'll stay in the top 5. I mean, I don't think they're getting into the realm of contention.
Like I feel
they would have needed the guys that they had do well this year not graduate.
Yeah. It's just funny. Like I feel like we talk about Michigan getting these guys all the time, and it's like, man, they must be doing great. It's like, how'd they finish last year? And it's like pretty good.
I mean, they did great, top 5 team, but just not in title contention. That's which You're great, just not the best.
It's just it really just shows the stranglehold Penn State has on these guys, on the nation still.
Well,
And speaking of Penn State,
yeah, it's funny you say that because
I was super surprised to see this. Uh, I feel like Terrell Barraclough, if he was going to transfer, in my mind, it would have happened a while ago.
I'm
So
so
the fact
glad that he is
I
transferring though.
this is a guy that I think is going to be an All-American no matter where he goes. Like this is
Like the way Carter talked about Barraclough, like makes you go like, huh,
yeah.
interesting.
It's
He's a bad. He's going. I mean, he had a 2-1 match with the guy who took third at 174, and Carter's describing him as basically a backup 57. So
yeah. I mean, like this is a guy that I think that it's amazing Penn State was able to keep him for as long as he was, and I believe he's also a grad transfer, with one more year of eligibility, and I hope I'll be rooting for Terrell Barraclough hard no matter where
I
he
hope he
goes.
goes Big Ten.
I hope he goes to. He's probably gonna go to Michigan.
Now, what weight is he going to go? Do you think he'll go 57, 65, or 74?
I'm gonna go with 65.
Yeah, that
I Yeah, I mean Carter, said he's a backup 57, but I think he's probably a more natural 165.
right.
But if he went to a program that had, bookend guys, at 57 and 74, or 65 and 49, and he was like, I can't make, or 65 and 74, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm gonna go 157 because it's best for the team.
Yeah.
Because clearly he's a team guy. This is a guy that has been a great member of the Penn State lineup whenever he's inserted, and an incredible guy on the team, on the roster. And he's been there. It's especially in today's day and age, it's super easy for someone to just say, I'm not starting, or I'm not getting the looks I want in the room. I'm gonna leave. And he didn't do that. This is a team first guy. I could totally see him going 157, 165, 174, maybe even 184. If the program calls
Michigan's
for
going
it.
to be looking even better when they get him,
Um, I I really think he has good All American potential. Uh, it's
He's
gonna suck that he's
he could beat whoever Penn State's going to throw out. He's trained with them. He
well, I
knows.
was about to say it'll probably be really close. Just
Yeah.
like when we've seen like Penn State versus Penn State, Iowa versus Iowa. Like anytime that these guys wrestle against each other, especially after battling in the practice room, um, you could have these super close matches, and maybe he can eke it out. Give someone like, and this is a bad example because they're not going to be the same weight, but like Bo Bartlett, who keeps matches very close and can have a match stolen from him, like we've seen it happen. If Terrell wrestles someone like that from Penn State that he's familiar with, and has that bit of a slower pace, and I could see him having a big upset win over someone from his former team. But I think that wherever he
I'd love to
goes,
see
he's going to be a huge
Barraclough
force.
beat whoever Penn State throws out. I would love to see like, dang, that's saying something. The guy that left just won. Oh shoot!
I think he's
Just
going
like
to be
I
great.
would root for Beard over,
Yeah.
for Penn State was like, especially against Max Dean. I really wanted them to see him beat Max Dean, but like Brooks, I never thought that he was going to ever beat Brooks, but still. So how about? I mean, we were saying it the moment it happened last season. Connor Mcgonagle loses in overtime to his teammate, and
then the rest is history.
yeah, and the rest is history. He rode bench for the rest of the year, and he was toted. He was in the All-Star Classic,
Yeah.
and I mean that was a pretty tough turnaround for him. That those were like back-to-back weekends that he had to wrestle. He loses to his teammate, and then loses to Crookham, and then goes to the All-Star Classic, and he won.
Yeah.
So like he won at the All-Star Classic.
It's
and then he had to ride bench the whole season. Like that must have been mentally very difficult.
Yeah, I mean we saw this one coming a mile away once that we're like, yep, he's transferring next season.
Yeah, we kept saying it, and then I was waiting for it to happen, and then it finally did. And I mean, did I think Virginia Tech?
I didn't.
No, I did not think Virginia Tech was where he would land. Interesting choice. I mean, I guess he's replacing what, Latona?
I guess it depends if he goes 33 or 41.
Why would he go up?
he talked about, trying to go up when he was trying to make the lineup back in Lehigh. Um, I, but he's probably going to be a direct replacement for Latona.
Yo, I mean, that makes things very interesting for the top of 33.
133
Yeah,
again.
because you got Crookham, you got Nasir, and now you got Mcgonagle. Those three right there
Yeah.
duking it out. I mean, maybe Nagao gets a resurgence.
I almost wonder if Nagao is going to even go 33 next year, or if it's going to be Braden Davis trying to come up, because rumor is he
A
can't.
lot of people think that Braden Davis is going to beat Nagao out for the spot.
Yeah, so it'd be if that happens, it's going to be another like case of transfer portal blues,
Yeah,
where he's like,
Nagao
dude, I
hits the portal,
transferred,
goes back to Minnesota.
back. He's like, I'm back. Did you miss me? Um, I think Mcgonagle is someone, and we've talked about this too. Like, he has the All American potential.
Yeah.
It's just bananas that it's like, oh yeah, the guy that beat you just took like, he beat Vito twice in one season.
He beat Vito twice in one season, but didn't beat him at the national
Yeah.
tournament. That's where he lost.
Yeah, took third. Only loss of the season was to Vito once.
Yeah, I mean, basically, had he, I feel like if he not wrestled Vito those first two times, Vito would have been stunned by him at NCAAs.
Yeah, he had definitely had a interesting approach. It was funny to watch Vito make the adjustment where he was like pointing at the center of the mat. He's like, "You stay here
That
with
was
me,"
amazing.
because Brookham was like, "Hey, I have this strategy of working the edge, and I can score from there." And it worked twice against Vito. And Vito was like, we're not doing this a third time. He's like, I will stand here all day and let the clock expire.
Right. Yeah. Boom. Great.
But Mcgonagle, huge pickup for Virginia Tech. And on the same topic, Virginia Tech, who just left? Cooper Flynn.
Yeah, I mean, he
I was
pulled
surprised.
his Olympic red shirt and then did an All-American. Like, he clearly is probably a bit salty about how that played out.
Yeah.
And yeah, so him departing there, I don't know where he's gonna land. I mean, with the way 25 is, I mean, could he be All-American potential, maybe?
Yeah.
Any given Sunday. I mean,
I wonder if he's gonna, have a little bit more of a freestyle focus right now. But
he didn't even wrestle in the Olympic trials.
Well, that's what I mean. Is like, a lot of these guys that did the Olympic red shirt were like, "Oh, I'm actually not going to do the trials though," and it's like, well, why?
What's the point of the Olympic red shirt? I thought the key to getting an Olympic red shirt was you had to qualify for the Olympic trials.
If it was only that simple.
Yeah, I guess.
And I think that's, as much as I love the Olympic red shirt, I think that guys do misuse it for this reason, and they basically just use it as another way to redshirt. And it's like, oh, I did, a handful of freestyle matches, but I've mostly been training folk style.
Yeah.
I don't know where he's going to end up, and I don't know how much of an impact he'll have with certain programs.
I kind of don't. I feel like he's going to be a minimal impact. Like, it's not going to be like he's going to really turn the program around kind of guy. I just don't see that from him.
I feel like with 125 though, it's so funny, and you alluded to this, is like we'll probably be like, oh, he's not going to do much, and then he'll go to like some random school and be like, oh, he won the national championship. Maybe he'll go to a small school like North Colorado, who's actually just losing. What's up?
Steve-O Poulin's there though.
Doesn't Steve-O graduate? I feel like Steve-O's life is so long to me, because I feel like I've been following him since he was like 7 or however old he was. When those videos came out, I feel like he's been.
Maybe he'll go. He'll go where Parco's leaving.
Yeah,
he'll go to Arizona State.
And then becomes
Richie Figg's partner.
I was surprised to see Parco enter. He was a guy that I'm
that was like, he's like the face of Arizona State.
Yeah, he really is. I think that they have good guys in Colton Schultz, and their best wrestler, I mean, this season was oh gosh, who was it? No. Oh yeah, well, Figs
won the national title.
So I was thinking in my mind, I was thinking Ja'Cory Teamer, but I forgot about
Teamer. Yeah, I mean, Teamer did really well.
Yeah, I mean, they had some really good guys, and Parco, All-American finish, top 5.
I mean, I think Parco had higher hopes than 5th.
Yeah, I think you're, especially after wrestling at the All-Star Classic, having a close match with Shane Van Ness. But I always give Arizona State a bit of a hard time. I feel like guys never really hit their full potential there.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's tough not to when you're at like the best, most fun school in America, where it's like, oh, like the weather's beautiful and I'm gonna go to the beach today or whatever, and we're just gonna have a party all day. We have a friend of the channel that had a friend that went to Arizona State and knew Zahid, and he's like, it was amazing that this guy was able to even get to wrestling practice some days because of how much he was enjoying his college experience, shall we say.
Right. It's a
But
secondary thought. Jeez.
yeah, so it's a little bit different. I think that if Kyle goes to another school, maybe we'll see him, take that next step forward above fifth.
Yeah, I mean, he'll end up at Michigan, and
Yeah, but I feel like it's tough with guys that have that one more year because it's tough to kind of break one coaching style and learn a whole new one.
yeah. Well, clearly Bourmet knows what he's doing when it comes to getting the transfers.
Oh yeah,
Because I mean,
they
Davison
do
improved upon
excellent.
his previous season. Griffith improved upon his previous season. I mean, Cannon was injured, so not so
Yeah,
much.
they
D'Agostino didn't really do much. So I mean,
they
that's
still do an excellent job over at Michigan.
yeah.
Now, did we talk about the prized package?
No, we haven't brought him. I was saying best for last.
Wow. I cannot believe to hear this guy enter the portal, especially after we gave him a Cactus Spotlight shout out.
Yeah, I know. We were like, saying how much pride he has in being the big fish in the little pond, and really elevating the small schools. A lot of respect there. And then what does he do? He ups and throws himself in the port. I mean, maybe he'll Yaroslav it and
He's just gonna make
just stay
yeah.
put. But I have a feeling someone's going to make an offer he can't refuse.
Oh, we're gonna talk about that offer, aren't we?
That offer, yeah, the creme
So
de la creme.
creme de la creme offer. So as always with wrestling rumors, take it with a grain of salt. But I'm a big fan of Pat Minio. I think he gets a lot of interesting stories out there. And even if he's not
It's
always
amazing that
100%,
he gets like
yeah,
he's on the pulse of everything.
he's connected. And again, even if he's not always like 100% accurate, it still makes for an interesting storyline.
Yeah.
And if this is what he said is has any truth to it, then that's insane.
Oh yeah.
Because his claim, and again, I'm not sure the logistics and how real this is, but his claim is that Iowa has offered $500,000 to one Andrew Alirez.
I mean, I don't doubt it. Like they probably got the money to do it.
And on top of that, Oklahoma State is going to match the offer.
Oh.
Yeah. It's
Whoa.
bananas. So
honestly, between the two, he better go with Oklahoma State. If those are the only two options, like if he goes to Iowa, I will bet that he does not win a national title.
Well, that's like someone commented in to Pat Minio. He said back to him, he's like, "Why would he want to go to Iowa to get worse?" Question mark. And I thought that was pretty silly.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like if he goes to Iowa, he will not be a two-time national champ.
Yeah,
he will probably finish second or third.
And and Northern Colorado put together a package for him. Again, supposedly he was offered $150,000 NIL deal to stay at Northern Colorado, but he's going to at least test the NIL waters.
Right.
But it's tough for these small schools. I mean, how do you compete with somebody?
More than trolling like your offer,
especially when and I love Bashamania. I think he's awesome. The Bashamania podcast. And Andrew Alirez went on there, and he talked about Northern Colorado about and the same thing as we brought up, how he's homegrown, and he wants to transition to MMA one day, and how he plans to stay there for training. But
it'd be hard to stay there for training if he transfers.
But when you're a 20-year-old wrestler or a 20-year-old person in general, and especially in a sport like wrestling, where for decades there was zero pay. I mean,
yeah.
For those of you guys that might have seen the Foxcatcher movie, I think it was Mark Schultz is giving a speech with his gold medal, at like a high school gymnasium and it's like 7 kids and like, here's your $25 for coming to speak to the kids. And then he has to work a regular job.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, like this is a world champion.
Yeah.
So when you're
I mean, that's
20
probably
years
why a
old,
lot of guys retired younger, but
yeah. So when you're 20 years old and they say, hey man, here's $500,000 and all you're going to do is the exact thing you were just doing just for us now.
yeah,
I mean,
that is hard.
how do you turn that down? Especially when everything else will also be taken care of. Your room, your board, your tuition. I mean, you're
Then you're
going to
with the
college.
brands, bros.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
You get DeSanto as a training partner.
Yeah. Oh boy. So I don't know what Andrew Alirez is going to do.
Well, I mean, he better recognize that Real Woods did not get better there. He definitely got worse.
Yeah. And does he bet again on himself and say, well, I'm not Real Woods, I'm Andrew Alirez, and or do you go with like
who is transferred at 141 to Iowa and found success?
Yeah, I mean,
so than they had prior.
It wasn't Jaden Ironman, and Real Woods did well, but I think he would have done just as well if he stayed at Stanford.
Yeah.
Anyway, he regressed.
Yeah. Second to what was it, 5th?
Was he that low this year?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh man, I didn't even. I once he kind of lost, I was because I picked him to do well. So once he lost, I was like, well, I'm done watching.
Well, that's it for Real Woods. Yeah. Thank you.
I was like, call it a career.
He
took 4th. He lost to Brock Hardy.
Oh,
so just etched out Enchamendia. I'm at 5th. But
that's right. Yeah.
But it's is NIL a problem at this point? How do these smaller schools compete?
Well, I mean, Transfer U Michigan is basically like building all-star teams.
Yeah, and still not winning.
And still not being the best team, despite this. But still, like, that's what they're basically trying to do.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if Alirez ended up there?
If the price is right.
But, like, could you imagine?
That would be
a
really good lineup.
Tough.
That'd be a really competitive lineup, especially if Wyatt goes there too.
And Barraclough.
Yeah. Man, like Michigan, probably licking their lips right now and be like, oh man, we're rubbing their hands. Like we can get all these guys.
Because they already got Cardenas and Soldate.
Get that Cliff Keen money
up. Get Parco in there too.
Build a whole all-star team.
It really would. If they had Ragusin at 33, Alirez at 41,
Parco at
49. Then you got
Soldate at 57.
57. Who's their 65?
It was what's his name?
Is Amin back?
No, I can't imagine he is.
Oh wait, no, Barraclough at 65.
65.
Cardenas at 97, Wyatt at 285. Oh, geez.
The Cam Amin has one more year of eligibility.
Oh no, so Cam Amin at 74, and then Bullock's back at 84. Who's their
all-star team right here? Who was there?
Oh, it was D'Agostino, who's gone.
Well, he had that beard.
So they'll take Cooper Flynn, and then they're set.
That's it. The team, Michigan. Get on the phone right now. Let's start making these calls.
We just gave you the team. We gave you the blueprint.
This is the lineup.
I mean, that would be a freaking. They would take second for sure.
They would be one of the best second-place teams ever.
Yeah, I mean, probably wouldn't be able to take.
I don't think it'd be enough. It's crazy. It still wouldn't be enough, but
I'm like, I don't think it'd be quite enough to knock off Penn State, but I mean, it would be as close as any could come.
I wonder though if there's any chance he returns to Northern Colorado.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if he's entering the portal, that's something that he's probably leaving.
But as you talked about, Yaroslav did the same thing and returned back to Rutgers. But it's very different to be Yaroslav versus to be Andrew Alirez.
That's not exactly the same.
That's those are very different levels to the sport.
Yeah, you got a returning champ. I mean, he's basically going to be able to take on who's the highest bidder.
Yeah.
So I like that bid. Yes, I do. Okay.
Well, I mean, because this is a guy that's shown that he doesn't need the best facilities or the best coaches to go, to be a national champ. I mean, not to knock the Northern Colorado program, but
Yeah.
they're not known for putting out talent year after year after year, like some of these programs that are reaching out to him.
I'd find it very interesting if he went to Okie State.
Yeah, I mean, like again,
that would be a very interesting.
They're slowly building a great team as well. Wyatt could end up there as well. I mean, they're slowly building.
You get Wyatt and him there, and then you already got Hamidi and Fish.
Yeah. Plus they have
Plot.
Oh gosh. Yeah, they have Wyatt Sheets. Did he graduate? I feel like that's an old name now.
No, I don't think Sheets is around.
Yeah, I was like, that's a super throwback. No, but they got Dustin Plott has one more year.
Yeah. Plot is back at 84. Tegan Jameson's still around, but I mean that.
I gotta imagine Braden Thompson's gonna take a step up at 174 potentially.
Yeah. Or they'll take Barraclough.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see where these guys actually land.
For sure.
But I mean, yeah, you definitely hit it on it where it seems like they're gonna end up at Penn State, Michigan, Okie State, or Iowa. Other than those four, it's not like, I mean, I'd be shocked if it was like, and they're going to Gardner-Webb.
It's like, can you believe it? He signed with Ryder.
Yeah. He's going to the Citadel. What?
After further consideration, I've decided to go to Division III.
Yeah, I'm going D3. Yeah, that would be surprising. So, yeah. Let us know. What do you think? Down in the comments. Where are these guys landing? Do you think they've the ones that have already picked their places are going to improve upon where they are, or do you think they'll made a mistake by leaving where they were? Yeah, let us down below.
And is NIL getting to be a problem? Is the transfer portal, is it good for the sport? Is it bad for the sport? Where do we go from here? If this is, does it have, is the system broken?
Right. Yeah. We'd love to hear from you.
Yep,
thanks for watching Cactus Wrestling. We're on Spotify.
Buy your merch.
We're on Etsy.
Thanks for watching. We are Cactus Wrestling, and we'll see you next time on our next video.